Welcome to Annexed Dinner Table Reviews. I'm Cassandra.
And I'm Devin.
And today we're going to be looking at Sonora. Sonora is what they're calling a flick and write. So you have these little discs that you place on a corner and then you flick it onto the board, and based on where it lands is where you'll be able to score points on your handy dandy little writing board. I think that the concept was fairly unique. You know, we see a lot of roll and writes, but flicking was definitely different. Have not ever played one, and even they are like kind of first of its kind.
Yeah, it definitely adds a physical component. Like rolling dice is one thing, but this requires some kind of like control and I don't know. It brings me back to paper football games and things of that nature.
Yeah, truly a dexterity game. You have to be good at flicking. And then the artwork, the box is got this gorgeous like desert landscape. I think the box doesn't necessarily bleed into the game on board as well. It is, you know, they're definitely four unique places, but it doesn't like catch me and go, wow, that art is just gorgeous like it does on the box.
Yeah, and I think it's the posterized quality, the limited colors, and they're very thematic, but it's not very vibrant, and yeah.
Yeah. And then I like that there were the four different sections, which really kind of brought you to this strategy type of game. I did not like this game, partially due to the fact that there was so much player interaction where you're flicking those discs and other people are able to hit your discs, so you kind of are left at the whims of fate in terms of you put it in a great place, and then they knock it into something that really doesn't help you in any way.
The whims of fate and the whims of your other players. Yeah, I thought this one was a pretty good game. I do think that, you know, the limited player interaction during that phase of flicking and then everyone's heads down, not really conversing and just playing their own little micro game. The puzzles are very one player, and once you get to that puzzle phase, there's no more interaction, so it's not really good for that type of thing.
Yeah, like the lizard one has what they're calling competitive interaction, where the player who has the most in that section gets to mark theirs off first, and the like bonuses are one per once, only happen once. And so if I take the A bonus, Devin can no longer have it. But that was the only thing where you're kind of like listening and looking at what other people are doing. It is very much just like, let me do my own thing. And that's the majority of it, really. The flick phase takes probably 5 minutes, and then the right phase of it takes 20 minutes.
Yeah, especially if you start playing with the combos where you're adding bonuses from one region to the other region, and you're just jumping around and just kind of really stacking those combos. You can have your head down for 5 minutes during a single round, just adding the points down. I will say the puzzles are interesting and fun to try to find your way around and try to think critically about where to place things. But, you know, it is definitely not a player interaction game.
Yeah, beside the flick, like, I would say the flick part, super interaction, because they're all out there and you're able to do a lot. But once you get out of that phase, it does really become like a solo game.
Yeah.
I would say that it was very easy to play it and to teach it. There's not a lot of difficulty in understanding the rules. You flick it, you do your little puzzle. I would say in terms of age range that I think that the hardest thing is really the flicking when it comes to age, and I would put that at like 6 to 8, just because trying to get it on the board and not flicking them off the board and all around the house.
Yeah, there's some complexity to the puzzles also that I think would put an age damper on it. And you know, it's that ratio again that we always talk about, play or win. And this one I think actually putting marks and completing the puzzles requires a little bit more thought and understanding than typical children will be able to comprehend. And the dexterity of the flicking. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe not. I think we're thinking closer to like 10-ish.
Yeah.
Overall, I don't like playing this one. I don't know what it is. I think it's that like flicking, especially when I play against Devin. For some reason, every single time I do, I'm always losing by at least 50 points. And it's just not fun when you're getting destroyed so much that it's just like, sure, we can play it, but you're gonna win, and it's like, you know.
Yeah, and you know, I enjoyed this game, and I do fairly well on it, which is, you know, this is one of those games that skews in my direction. I do think that the limited amount of player interaction that is in the game is very aggressive, and if you like that type of game, maybe this is for you, because you know, a lot of the game is knocking other people's tokens and trying to get yourself in a better position by knocking them into better positions, or worse positions, if you will. Yeah, so it's a fun game, but ultimately it's very aggressive and very head to head, and so it's not going to be a favorite for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have an older version, just look at Pandasaurus's website for an updated rule book. Much better rules and explanations in the new one versus the old one, and I think it's increased in size, I'm pretty sure, from that like 4x4 to a 10x10. If you're interested in that, just look at their website. But that is what we thought of Sonora. If you like this video, hit that button and don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell to get notifications of our newest videos.